Hi Taurus, and welcome to your monthly tarot reading for August. And this is a general reading that could benefit any sun, moon, or rising sign of Taurus. And, we'll get a sense of what the energies or messages are for the month, and we can plan accordingly. And we'll pull some oracle cards afterwards for further guidance and clarity. Okay, so let me take a little look here to see what we have. Okay, so we have some really nice energy coming through. We're starting August with movement and with action and with self-confidence. We have the Chariot, and as you can see, the charioteer is driving and moving this chariot forward, and he's able to control the sphinxes in front. You know, they're in black and white, and that kind of represents the oppositional forces that we have and that we face, that you're able to navigate through them. So with the Chariot, it's a sense of being very confident. You're going to feel a sense of mastery in whatever projects, whether it's work, whether it's hobbies or other pursuits or relationships. You're going to feel that you're really in the driver's seat and that you're able to, keep hurtling along, on your way to wherever you want to go. Doesn't mean that the ride's going to be smooth and you won't have a bump or two, but with the confidence that's always suggested in this card, you're going to feel confident enough to ride through it. The Chariot is a card of success, so you are moving towards success, whether you're in a relationship, whether you are looking for a job or a job promotion, it's going to work out for you. This is a card showing a lot of self-control, of being able to have the guidance to drive this chariot. You get to that point with self-control, self-discipline. Also, with this chariot is a sense that people are going to see you, and they're going to see you in this victorious place. And if you think about our heroes, whether they're NBA champions or whether they're the astronauts getting their ticker tape parade, that there's a sense of recognition and people looking to the successful charioteer driving into town and getting their acclaim. So this is simply a card of victory, of winning, and of self-control and being able to navigate through whatever oppositional forces you may be facing. So along with that wonderful card of the Chariot, we have the Judgment card. And as you can see, the Archangel is blowing a fanfare as if to say, here's our new friends who are going to be thinking and having a sense of rebirth. Because you can see our little gray people are rising out of their coffins, hands held up to the sky. This tells us that for Taurus, you're going to be really thinking about what's going on in your life. August is going to be a time for you to think about your actions. Where are you now? Have your actions led you to the right place of where you want to be? And if not, what are you going to be able to do to change it for the better? It's never too late to think about and to hope for different outcomes or different ways to find fulfillment. And really, the Judgment is so close to the end of the major arcana. It's like almost the day of reckoning. But it's your own day of reckoning within yourself and within the questions that are, gee, am I doing what I really am hoping to do? If you want to be a potter and work at the pottery wheel, but you're stuck in an accountant's job, you may feel stifled, and you may feel that you're never going to get there to what you're hoping to do. Well, this is a moment for you to think about and to try to perhaps, have that visualization of what you want to do. And maybe a simple step is, if you're working as the accountant, maybe on the weekends you're able to rent time in a pottery studio and to start making a few pots and to sell them, to get yourself along the way. But this is a sense of taking stock, of you taking stock of your place where you are now. Are you fulfilling your life purpose, Taurus? Are you happy? Are you fulfilled? Are you lacking? And it's a chance to look at your past actions and to plan again or to recover. So we also have the Two of Swords. And in the Two of Swords, we see this woman crossed, with two swords crossed, crossing her heart, and she's blindfolded. So when we're blindfolded, what does that really mean? It means that we are not looking perhaps at reality. We're not looking at the truth of a situation. We are maybe putting it off to the side. It's like, I can't cope with this now. I can't deal with this now. I'm just not going to deal with it. And, that's fine. Ultimately, you're going to have to deal with it. But for now, you are, in a sense, very blocked. And that blockage, blocking your heart. So nothing's coming in and nothing's going out, other than the status quo of, I'm not dealing with this right now. So things to think about is that, to an extreme, this can cause isolation and it can cause unhappiness. Ultimately, you should think about a way to take off the blindfolds. A way to think about, how am I going to face this situation? If a relationship is on its way out, like it's not working out, but you're just not dealing with it because you don't want to be lonely, ultimately it's going to play itself out. So, you can either take off the blindfold and unfold your arms and make a decision and to move forward, or you can continue to kind of just not deal with it. But ultimately, it will come to pass. It'll come out in the open. You'll have to deal with it. Twos often suggest having to make a decision. So again, this is perhaps a time in August where you're just not wanting to make a decision. You just don't want to deal with it. You're just putting it off. I'm gonna stay closed right now. I just don't want to deal with it. So then we have the wonderful Knight of Pentacles. So the Knight of Pentacles is someone he's the one knight who's not moving it out on his horse. He is standing and he's holding his pentacle. And that he's observing and he's watching and he's planning and he's thinking and he's getting ready to do something. And this is with a pentacle, it's a focus on finances, it's a focus on resources, it's a focus on career. So whether this is telling you in August to sit down and plan, and maybe you need to plan a budget, or maybe you're planning to save for a vacation. But this is a sense of this knight is very hardworking. This knight is very devoted to getting the job done and doing a good job with it. Not going to rush through things. So this is energy that could help you, which is don't rush your work projects. Do your best. Work well within your team. This is solid, dependable energy, practical approach. Even with this knight, who often knights are full of adventure, maybe this one is less adventure bound than others and prefers just kind of watching and then moving in. The cautionary thing to mention is, don't be a dullard. And if you have chances for adventure, don't let work pull you down and to say, well, I really can't I can't go hiking this weekend because I've got to go into the office for a few hours. That's perhaps the extreme side of the Knight of Pentacles, which maybe they're not having enough fun. So it's up to you, Taurus, to find the balance, which is to, you're doing a great job, you're working hard, you're thinking about things, you're maybe writing down a budget, maybe you're writing goals in a journal, maybe you have a whiteboard and you're listing the things you want to accomplish. Ultimately, you probably will get there because this is very dependable, solid, practical energy, more than likely will meet goals. So keep at it with your straightforward, direct, pragmatic approach. Then in August, the wonderful card, which is the Magician. And the Magician is pointing his wand above and below, as it is above, as it is below. And, this is a wonderful reminder to you that you have many talents, you have many skills, you have ideas that you want to do in life, ideas that you want to bring out, ideas that you want to feel good doing, and that perhaps help the world or, help you and help your family. The Magician is the card that shows that you have all of the resources available to you, but it's a matter of what you do with them. It's a matter of what you plan to do with them. If you sit and just dream all day, and I'd really like to learn how to ride a motorcycle. But if you're just sitting around all the time, you're never going to be on that motorcycle. The Magician is putting the plan into action. Okay, so I'm going to look around for local courses maybe on how to ride a bike, a motorcycle, and then I'll have to think about getting my license. Then I'll have to think about either buying a motorcycle or renting one. But, the Magician is the creativity and everything inside that you want to build or create throughout your life, of creating the magic in your life. And that magic requires you to take the resources that you need. So in August, this is a chance for you to think about what it is that you really want to manifest. What do you really want to create? And, go and try to make a plan to do it. Set out on a journey to do it. And again, if it's small steps, if you are committed to a job that pays the bills, but in your heart you want to be a photographer, go out and take photographs and put them up on Flickr, or, work on your Instagram account. But you can do things to help further, what your heart's desire is telling you to do. So with the Magician, we have the Hierophant, Major Arcana, and this Hierophant really represents traditions and conventions of society, of what's going on in groups and group belief, perhaps. So this tells me that, you're going to be probably paying attention to some typical conventions, and maybe that's going to baptisms, maybe it's going to church regularly, maybe it's a Buddhist group that you meet with, a spirituality group, but you're going to be keeping to, conventions. The Hierophant, you could see he has these two monks below him. So perhaps you're meeting with someone who is more experienced, or someone who is a clergyman, a professor, a experienced businessman who's going to be teaching you something, or you're going to be getting some wisdom from him. But it is a sense of society's conventions, education, certain career paths. So with the Hierophant, a sense of you to check in with clergymen, professors, perhaps even doctors, to just you're going to be following some type of tradition. That's really what the Hierophant is about, or meeting with someone who is masterful and can give you good advice. And then in August, a very interesting card. So we have the Lovers. Beautiful card. We see that the Lovers are below the Angel and they're without clothes, and it's a sense of vulnerability. And when we hope for love and when we want love in our life, we have to assume and we have to take on the vulnerability. Because when you lay yourself out there for emotions and when you, hope to be with someone else, and if you like someone else, you hope that they feel the same way. And so if they don't, you open yourself to getting hurt. And that's part of the whole deal of relationships, which is you're taking a chance. But the Lovers, this represents very deep and meaningful and committed relationships. So if you are in a relationship, often this is a suggestion that you're going to be thinking about a decision to make. Are you going to move forward in this relationship? Are you going to move in together? Are you going to get engaged? Are you going to consider marriage and children? It begs the more deeper questions within a relationship, because this is a serious relationship of passion, intimacy, communication, connectivity. So if you're single, perhaps Taurus, maybe you're ready to meet and to date again. And maybe you've been blocked before, and you just haven't wanted to deal with dating. Understand that's how some people feel. It's that they're just kind of like, I'm not at that stage, I'm too busy. But, in August, maybe your eyes are open if you're single to wanting to be in a relationship and you start to date. And that's always a great start. And, we've got the Queen of Cups here. And this Queen of Cups is, she is a wonderful nurturer of emotions. She's someone that is caring and intuitive and loving, and is someone that you might go to for very good advice, but it is suggesting an openness to an emotional experience. So with the Queen of Cups, you're going to have an emotional, opportunity perhaps to deepen what you're hoping for. And whether if you're in a relationship, maybe it's going to become more important in your life, more significant. If you've just been dating around, maybe you've kind of settled on someone that you really like. The Queen of Cups is, tapping into and keeping a good head on your emotions, meaning not letting your emotions get out of control. So there's an opportunity to have a wonderful, enriching, emotional experience, and it's just gonna be about dating and people that you meet for love. So let me just take a look here to see if anything else is coming up. But what a powerful spread of planning, of thinking about your financials and your career and just getting on board and getting things done, of self-reflection when it comes to judgment, self-reflection. And the Chariot, you're in the driver's seat. You are able to master and to control where you're headed to. And maybe you're headed out of town as well, in August. Maybe it's your last gasp before school starts in the fall. But, with the Magician and the Magician working with someone else who's going to maybe give you expert advice for you to be able to move into an area of your passion and of your creativity. And then having opportunities for love. And again, lovers can be sexual or could be platonic, but a deep relationship. And we have deep friendships in life that are very fulfilling and that matter almost as much sometimes as mates. And the Queen of Cups, beautiful. Okay, so I'd like to pull I'm going to pull a love card. Let's just start with the love card. And this is an oracle card. I believe this is the Power of Love. I don't recall. You can check my website. I'll put a link in there where I list all of my oracle and my tarot cards. Okay. Virtue. You acknowledge your loving spiritual attributes that encourage others to grow. So having virtue is really a fabulous thing, and that is, what is virtue? Well, virtue is treating people with respect, treating people kindly, fairly, truthfully, with honesty, and looking out for others, and, you know, to encourage others to find themselves, or to, let me just put that over here, encouraging others to find themselves, encouraging others to be the best person that they can be, or if they're unhappy, to give them recommendations of how to improve and to do something. And maybe that means talking to someone, a therapist, a counselor, a social worker. But having virtue is really honesty, integrity, compassion, and empathy for others. When you show those things, and when you are the living embodiment of that, you know, you're going to pull those type of people to you. That's the law of attraction. And when you give those beautiful qualities, you get them tenfold in return. Okay, so let's pick a focus for August. And this is the new Doreen Virtue Abundance Oracles. So let's get a sense here. Conscious consumer. You have the power to heal and help the world with the decision to buy only products and services that are ethical and environmentally friendly. Well, conscious consumer also extends to really buying what you need, perhaps, and thinking carefully about what you're bringing into the home. So if you are impulsively buying things, like maybe you've got to have 2 more colors of red for your nail polish, you know, ask yourself, do I really need this? How is this really gonna make my life better by having this, or am I gonna forget that I even bought this within a couple of days? So being a conscious consumer is a consciousness for yourself of perhaps buying what you need, and maybe being more minimalistic in your approach. The other thing is, for those that don't eat meat, and maybe you know, you are a conscious consumer because you choose not to buy any meat products or, you know, animals that have been bred for consumption. So these are your choices, but I think that this is really just saying, think about what you buy. Think about how it serves you. Think about how it serves the world, globally, locally. Are you buying packaged things when you could go down to the market and buy some apples that the farmer, you know, grew in his orchard down, you know, a county away or something? So it's just be aware. And so for August, think about the decisions, the things that you buy, how they serve you, how they help you. So all in all, a wonderful spread for Taurus in August. And I hope that you have a terrific August, and that you are able to enjoy and to manifest and to have tons of fun. If you enjoyed this reading, please like, share, comment. I love to engage. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. It's a great way to stay connected. And I really do appreciate it. So thank you so much for watching.